Hi, good afternoon to everyone. It's what time is it now? It's 1 in the afternoon already, and this is the lesson about the adverbial clause. In the last episode, we were talking about the adjective clause. The adjective clause, of course, modifies a noun, and clauses are divided into two major classifications: the dependent clause and the independent clause. The independent clause, of course, can stand alone with its own idea, but the dependent clause gets its idea from the independent clause. It cannot stand alone. And in our last episode, we have learned that adjective clauses sit in the middle of the sentence and oftentimes modifying the subject of the sentence. And we said last time that all clauses, whether it is dependent or independent, have verb and subject. They have verbs and subjects. Now, our lesson is about adverbial clauses. It says here that we say Lex, it's about the rule, okay, or rules. Adverbial clauses are often used in most dependent clauses in the sentence. So adverbial clauses, just like adjective clauses, use as dependent clauses. It cannot stand alone. They may be found at the beginning or at the end of the complex sentence, and they tell when, where, why, and how the action takes place. When, time; where, place; why, reasoning; how is the same. They are usually using comma at the beginning of the sentence, so that is your cue. When your training is done, say for example this one, as an example, morph is example. When your training is done, comma, this school will make recommendation based on your performance. This is your adverbial clause. It's in the opening of the sentence, carrying time. Okay, has to do with adverb. Okay, when, this one, yeah, and this is a dependent clause. It cannot stand alone because this is just a product of a result of something that is being discussed. And what is that? This school will make recommendation based on your performance. So here, okay, is another clause. Okay, you have the subject. Okay, this one, your verb phrase. All right, so let's now go to examples. Because the MB Shropshire was ready to use, the delivery was accepted on 22nd of July 2009. So the opener is an adverbial clause, not phrase. A phrase that doesn't have subject and verb. A clause has subject and verb. So you have the verb was. Okay, this is infinitive phrase, to plus verb. This is the verb. Okay, and this is the subject, MB Shropshire. Open with an adverb. So there is an adverbial clause opener in the sentence. Okay, next, where is it? The contract was scheduled since the two agreed about the terms and conditions. Where do you think is the adverbial clause? Right, you're correct. It's here. Since the two agreed about the terms and conditions. Notice that this is also an adverb modifying the verb. So when the adverbial clause is in the sentence, it modifies the verb. Last time, in our last episode, it modifies the nouns. Right? Here, the adjective clause modifies the nouns. This adverbial clause modifies the verb. So since the two agreed about the terms and conditions, okay, you have the subject to agreed as verb. That is why it is a clause or dependent clause. This is the independent clause. It can stand alone. The contract was executed, period. Subject, verb phrase, was executed. Number 3, so that the vessel would be tested, it had been equipped with 4 cranes and cargo grabs. Obviously, you have here the adverbial clause with that word so, a conclusion, okay, would be tested as your verb phrase, vessel is your subject, but this is an opener like this, with that, okay, not with this, because the adverbial clause sits after the verb. Here is separated with a comma, so it is very obvious. Then the dependent clause is this one. It can stand alone in its idea. It had been equipped with 4 cranes and cargo grabs, so have been as your verb phrase and it as your subject. All right, so we're done with that. Number 4, when the management saw the outcome of the project, comma, they were amazed of its capacity to perform. When is an adverbial opener, has to do with time. So to this, you have the verb, you have the subject. Okay, this one, in the dependent clause, you have the they as your subject, were amazed is your verb phrase. Okay, so this is the dependent clause, this is the independent clause. Number 5, when China spurred the dry bulk markets back to reasonable levels, MBA Shropshire was contracted. So obviously again, we have the adverbial opener, we have the verb, you have the subject. Here in the independent clause, you have the subject, Shropshire, MB Shropshire, and was contracted as your verb phrase. So this is your independent clause, this is your dependent clause. Okay, right. Number 6, if technical and crew management were to be employed by BB, the vessel must be commissioned. Obvious again with the conditional word. Okay, is your dependent clause, which is your adverbial clause. Okay, where is your verb? The technical and crew management. Okay, so you have the technical and management as your verb phrase. Here you have the verb phrase for the independent clause. You have the subject here. 7, so that the vessel must be administered. Okay, so obvious. We have the so, you have the subject, you have the verb phrase. This is your adjective, adverbial clause, and here is the dependent clause, will be performed as your verb phrase. Management system is your subject. This is your independent clause. We're done with 7, now we're in 8. Unless there is going to be a problem when the voyage will continue. The voyage will continue. Unless it's an adverbial opener. Time. Conclusion rather. So you have here as your subject, verb phrase. This is your adverbial clause. Voyage is your subject. Okay. Will continue is your verb phrase. This is your independent clause. Alright. So we're done with the number 9. Number 10, last but not least, because the shipyard have reached this stage you have here, obviously opened with an adverb because the shipyard have reached this stage. So you have reached as verb phrase, shipyard as your subject. This is your adverbial clause. Okay, and this is the dependent, which is the dependent clause. This is the independent clause. The testament has been established. Testament is your subject, has been established as your verb phrase. Alright, so when you come across with this type of sentences, with the openers, etc., with two sentences being combined together, one dependent, one independent clauses, we call this complex sentence. Alright, so whether it's an adverbial or adjective clause combined to the independent clause, they are called complex sentence. So, congratulations, you have made this far, you are advancing, you are now an advanced student of grammar. Thank you very much.